What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at the FAQ from OP-07. OP-07, it's not actually out yet in Japan, but it's close to being out. It's out at the end of next week, end of this week in fact, and we got a ruling set of queries, so let's go and have a gander, and there are a few. So let's get rolling with Monkey the Dragon. This is the one that activate main once per turn, give a total of up to 2 currently attached Dom to one of your characters. Okay, can I take 2 Don and give 1 each to 2 characters? No, the card says to one of your characters. If one of my characters has 2 Don cards, can I use this effect to give those 2 Don again to that same character? No, that makes no sense. That would be weird. I don't really understand that one. No, you can't use it to magically double up the Don. That would be weird. If 2 of my characters are given 1 Don each, can I use this to move both of those Don to one of my other characters? Yes. In the same way that you can move Don from a leader with this, but not to a leader, both the Don have to go to the same place, but they can come from different characters. That is very, very important. Now, Ain is a new character we've got here, and on play, you get to make one of your opponent's characters power 0, which is nice. Okay, so when your leader attacks an opponent's character, whose power is already 0 with this, if my opponent then uses a counter, say counter plus 1,000, does its power stay at 0 or does it go up to 1,000? The answer is it goes up to 1,000. You put it down to 0, but then your opponent can still counter and add power. So let's say during your turn, your opponent's original power, 5,000 hack for instance, is going to be given an extra 2,000 power by the counter effect of the new card Keep Out. So it's going to be 7k until the end of your opponent's next turn. Well, if I use Ain to put hack down to 0, does it then go back up to 7,000 during your opponent's turn? Because the whole point is it was supposed to be 7,000 until the end of your next turn. That is your opponent's turn and then yours. So if Ain puts you down to 0, does it go back up to 7 on your next turn? Yes. Yes, it does. Because Ain puts you down to 0 for the turn. Then at the end of the turn, back up to 7. Job's a good un. Now, Modor comes in here with a rather lovely skill, and what we've got here is, on your turn, when you play it, you buff one of your Porkers D-Ace by 2k. You give them an extra 2,000 power. Okay, cool. And it's a weird kind of question in the FAQ. It says, on your turn, on play, so does that mean that it's plus 4,000 if you play it on your turn? No. It is saying that it only activates if the card hits the field on your turn, not on your opponent's turn. It is a 2k, it's not a 4k. That would be broken. Now, Dragon's Breath is a new red event card which comes in here. Lets you KO a character with 3,000 or less power, and a stage that costs 1 or less, and the trigger does the same thing. Well, if my opponent doesn't have a stage of a cost of 1 or less, and let's face it, most of the time they probably won't, can I still KO one of my opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less? Yes, you can. Essentially, it lets you get both of them, but if you can only do one, you only do one. That's fine. Now, Jewelry Bonny is one of the new leaders in the new set, and you got a skill that when your opponent attacks, you can pay 1 to rest one of your opponent's characters or their leader. So during your opponent's turn, can you choose not to activate this the first time they attack, but then wait until your opponent attacks later and activate it? I.e., can you wait to activate it on the attack you want, or does it have to be the first attack? And yeah, you can wait. That's fine. It is an optional thing, so every time they attack, you have the option of using it. But of course, it is once per turn, so the first time you use it, you then lose that option, and it cannot be used again. Now, Koala is back in OP-07 with lovely so-so artwork as a fun little side note, and when your opponent attacks, you can rest it to give a 5-cost or lower Fishman blocker for this turn. And this is actually a very important query. When my opponent attacks, can I give my character blocker and then block that attack? Yes. Yes, you can. Essentially, the deal here is that when the attack is about to start, you give blocker, then the attack happens. Oh, but then I've got a blocker here, ready to go. Jobs are good 'un. That's a funky ruling query that I very much enjoy. Now, as well as a leader jewelry Bonny, there is a character jewelry Bonny as well. On play, you pick one of your opponent's rested characters, and they do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. Or indeed, they're Don. You can choose a character, or you can choose a Don. Can I choose one of my opponent's active Don cards? No. It's a rested Don or a rested character. It is because of the wording of the card, very literally reads, give one of your opponent's rested characters or Don. So you choose one of those to not activate. So it's basically saying, well, it says rested character or Don. Does that mean rested character or any Don? No. It means rested character or rested Don. Now, we do have a new Basel Hawkins coming in as well. And Basel Hawkins, if your leader is a supernova, has blocker. And then once per turn, if it's going to be removed by one of your opponent's effects, you can rest one of your opponent's characters instead. Which incidentally is fantastic, because instead of you getting removed, you rest one of their characters. Ha! What if they don't have a character? If they don't have a character on the field, can you use this to stop Basel Hawkins being removed? And the answer is no. You can stop it being removed by resting a character, but if there's no character to rest, you cannot stop this being removed. Sorry. Now, Basel and Mayo is in this new set with a blocker. Honestly, if I ever see Basel and Mayo that doesn't have a blocker, I'm going to be sad. And yes, I know we've already had a Basel and Mayo that doesn't have blocker. It makes me sad. Only 1 out of 5 now, so come on. But the point is, you've got blocker, and on your turn, once per turn, if you rest a character with your own effects, you draw 1 and discard 1. What if this character gets rested from your own effects? Yeah, that's fine. It says a character. If it didn't include Bartolomeo, we've seen this in the wording of these cards a lot. If it didn't include Bartolomeo, it would specifically say other than Bartolomeo, but it doesn't, so you're good. Now, moving over into blue, we have Boa Hancock coming in as a leader in this set, a very nice leader. And on your turn, once per turn, when a character leaves play from one of your abilities, if you have 5 or fewer cards in hand, you can draw a card. Okay. Similar to what we were talking about with Bonny a minute ago. Can you choose not to do it the first time a character leaves play, and then later, then the second or third character leaves play, draw a card instead? And this is very important, of course, because remember, you only draw if you've got 5 or fewer cards in hand, so it may well be that the first time one of your characters leaves play from one of your abilities, you have too many, but then you can empty out your hand a bit later. And the answer is, yeah, that's fine. Because it's not a mandatory skill, and it doesn't say the first time one of your characters leaves play from one of your abilities. It is just every time a character leaves play, you have, from one of your abilities, you have the option of using this, but of course it's once per turn, so it says till you've used it. Now, there is a new Gecko Moria coming in this set. This is the one where once per turn, if your leader is a 7 Warlords of the Sea leader, and it would leave play by one of your opponent's effects, you can put a character other than Gecko Moria on the bottom of your deck instead. Keep this on the field. And this is going to be just like we talked about a minute ago with Basel Hawkins. What if I don't have a character other than Gecko Moria? Can I still use this skill to keep Gecko Moria on the field? No! Just like we said with Basel Hawkins, you have to put a character under to keep this on the field. You can't do that. This, unfortunately, does not stay on the field. Gutted. And one of the characters I was most excited about coming into this set was Salom, just because Salom's actually getting its own card, and I think that's amazing. And on your turn, on play, one of your Boa Hancock gains 2,000 power for the turn. You can probably see where this is going. It's the ruling we had with Ace a minute ago. It says on your turn, on play, but it's not on your turn plus 2k and on play plus 2k. It is when played on your turn plus 2k, i.e. if it gets played on your opponent's turn, you don't get the 2k boost, but it is only ever a 2k boost. Sorry about that. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to be back later on today with the second half of the FAQ to stop this video getting too long, to get it getting a little bit silly, because we're halfway through and we're already over 10 minutes. So we're going to stop it here, and we're going to be back later on today. I'm not going to make you wait till tomorrow, and then we'll have the full FAQ, and job will be a good one, but I don't want to rush it, and I don't want to make a super long video. So there we go. For now, you know the deal. Tell me which of these rulings make sense. Tell me which of these rulings you like. Tell me if any are confusing. If you got any questions, pop them in the comment section, and I'm sure myself, and I'm sure somebody, myself or someone else, will get to them soon. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.